Welcome once again to the Biz Breaks Podcast. I am your host, Kevin the Credit Crusher, along with my co-host, Nikia Neal, the financial expert. And today we're going to do some myth busting. We're going to talk about some things that you guys are hearing about on the internet, but may not be getting the entire context about, or might just be an absolute lie. There's a lot of fraud out there. There's a lot of people out there guys who are talking, they talking shit. That's the bottom line. They just talking shit. And they don't know what they're talking about. Now, we aren't we absolute experts. We're not the foremost authorities on this stuff, but we've got enough background and we've been in it long enough to know
a little something.
Some stuff is not real. It's a lot of smoke out there.
Yeah.
So
all right, so Kev, go ahead and kick it off, man.
Well, before we get into that, let's just remind everybody to like, follow, subscribe, and share. If you're looking at us on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification bell and subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can get this and a bunch of other content videos. And share the Biz Breaks Podcast. If you know entrepreneurs who want to hear real talk about real entrepreneurs, catch us on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you want me to kick it off? Because
I want you to kick it off. What did you say? I know it's gonna be something involving your industry first. What did you say?
Well, so how about this, Nice? Before I kick it off, because there's some two things that I want to talk about. But before we kick it off, there's something exciting happening in Atlanta, Georgia, in August. Can you talk about that?
I can. I have it right up here, right in front of me. So you can still see me and everything, right, Kev?
Yeah. You still looking?
The lip gloss is popping.
You're still glowing. You still got the glow.
All right, I'm still good. So basically, think about this, guys. A lot of times we go to festivals, we go to different things, and it's all about like the entertainment, it's all about the food, all of those good things. And when it comes to stuff that I don't want to say like this, like that we really need, not that we need to be entertained, right? Life is hard sometimes. But stuff that we really need, there's like nothing really for that. It's always like a conference or something. So basically, creators have come together, look like us, okay? Come together.
Black people.
All right, the Black folks have come together here and put together an event. First time, it's called Invest Fest. Like, I was like, oh my God, I wish I had thought of that. So Invest Fest is the first kind, of that type of event, but it combines like investing, entrepreneurship, pop culture, entertaining in a festival setting. So some of the people I do have to talk about some of the people and some of the topics that's going to be there, Kev. So some of the topics are going to be crypto. They're going to talk about stocks, marketing, estate planning, insurance, taxes, how to get money from the government, and real estate. Kev, they didn't say credit, so I was surprised about that. But
there's a credit guy coming. I don't want to mention his name because I don't know if that's going to mess him up. But he's a big deal in the credit space. He's going to be there giving out some great information.
You know what? And I thought about that. I was like, there's no way that they can't talk about credit. They just didn't put it on the topics on the site. Right. I was like, and all of these people that they have, somebody's going to talk about it. So let me just give you some of the headliners that's really sponsoring this thing. Eric Thomas.
E.T. He's big.
Yeah. E.T. is there. Steve Harvey. I love Steve Harvey.
Of course. How could you not?
Charlemagne the God, Earn Your Leisure, Rick Ross, Wall Street Trapper. That's the only one I'm not really familiar with that I just had named. And then there's a slew of other people. But the Budgetnista, I've seen her a lot, looked at some of her things. But one person I do have to shout out is because I actually do know this person, Sonia Lewis. Since this is a show about entrepreneurs, I met her when she was first getting started, and where she is right now from where she started, I want to say maybe 2016 is like phenomenal. So she started the first female black-owned student loan service. So basically somewhere you can go, experts you could talk to. And since then she's branched out to other things, they do like Toro cars and all kinds of other things like that. Sister is real dope. Just a phenomenal person to be around. Her energy is everything. I've been on a couple panels with her. So she's just really dope. And I just had to shout her out because she's doing big things and she's going to be a part of that too, Kat.
So you guys are going to recognize her as the student loan doctor.
Yes.
That's the moniker she goes by. So
yes.
So Nice. I think it would do them a great service if we mention them by their moniker. So the student loan doctor is going to be there. Tiffany, the budget Nista, is going to be there. Him 500 is going to be there. The Wall Street Trapper. So that kid is incredible. He does a bunch of things. The Earn Your Leisure team is going to be there. They are incredible. And Him 500, Wall Street Trapper, the budget Nista,
it's some more.
Earn Your Leisure. They all work together. And so a lot of them are going to be talking about a bunch of things.
This is FUBU, baby. For us, by us. You know,
for us, by us.
I seen on the lineup a couple sprinkles of, other, but it may be it may have been like 3 sprinkles of, some other vanilla flavoring in the mix, in that chocolate mix. But guys, if they're in the mix, and I'm sure that they are definitely worthy being there, and they are, care about our community. I couldn't imagine this event and them putting them on and not, having that. But it's awesome. It's an opportunity for you as an entrepreneur to be a vendor. They have vendor services on there. They're gonna have food trucks there, and it's an event. It's not just one day. I believe it's Saturday and Sunday, but if you get like VIP, then it's like Friday. They're doing something too for that. It's in Atlanta, Georgia. Tickets are online, so go check it out, guys. I know.
It's InvestFest Atlanta, Georgia, 5th. And if you just go on Google and hit InvestFest, you will find more information about it. So nice. That's good stuff. And you might see us there. You might see the Biz Breaks podcast. We may be in the building. Who knows?
I'll be doing this. Okay, what you got? You got some
shoulder shake. We're gonna bring the shoulder shake. All right, cool. Well, so today we're talking about myth busting, nice. And this conversation comes from several of my clients who have come to me and have sometimes my clients jam me up. They jam me up because they do. I'm not gonna lie. They make my job harder because they go out and they see stuff on the internet and they think it's real. And what they don't understand is they don't have the full context. And when I tell them, now they don't know these people, right? These people are out here talking these wonderful things that they can do in credit. They don't know these people, but they believe these people are telling the truth, and they believe these people are telling the truth because they need for these things to be true so that they can make good on the stuff that they've done. Let me just say to y'all, if you messed your credit up, this is going to sound bad. If you messed your credit up, the first step is recognizing that you messed your credit up. If you didn't pay your bills on time, you didn't pay your bills on time. If your accounts went to collections, they got charged off, or they went to collections, you did that. Now, if there's some stuff that's on your credit that's not you,
like
somebody, it's fraud. If there's fraud and you didn't commit these acts, not talking to you. But for those of you out there who messed your credit up, you got a credit card up and you ran it up, you didn't pay the bill, they closed it and they charged it off, that's you. You get a credit card, you got to pay the bill.
Yes, this is Papa Kev talking right now. Responsibility.
You got to pay but I understand life happens to everybody. So this is not shame. Some of you were moving along fine, and then a pandemic dropped in your life. It dropped in everybody's life. So I get it. You were working, you lost your job, you had to start living off of credit. I get it. You missed some payments, you made some late payments, you ran your credit cards up, some things went to collections, some things got missed. Like I got a letter sitting here on my desk that says I was supposed to submit something to the state by the 13th of June. Now, I don't know what calendar you guys are looking at, but the 13th of June was 2 yesterdays ago. So I get it. Life happens to me just like it happens to everybody else.
It doesn't happen to me, Kev. Life doesn't happen to me.
You light skin, and that's what happens. Light skin people, they have a different life. I don't get it. I don't know how I haven't.
This what we at. That's what we at with the show. I thought we just divide and conquer. That's what you just following the conquerors right now.
Look, for those of you who are not living the light skin lifestyle, that's to us. So here's the deal, nice. Here's the trouble that life is causing me. So people are out there and they've messed their credit up, and they're listening to people who are saying, we can fix your credit in 30 days, or you can fix your own credit in 30 days. Or they're saying, you don't have to go to a credit counseling company like ours. You can fix your own credit and you can get it done in 30 days. But here's the deal. They start doing it. They find out that it takes work. So they come to us, but they expect us to wave a magic wand and get rid of some of the stuff that has taken place in their credit. So I'm going to talk specifically about a thing that people are asking me to do that I will not do, but they've been told that this thing can help them in their credit. But before I get to that, so let's talk about what happens if you didn't pay a bill. Nice. Here's the thing. You have a credit card. You missed the payment on that credit card. That's true. That is a true event, and the credit card company is going to report that to the credit bureaus. The only thing that anybody can do, you, a company like ours, the people out there on the internet, the only thing that you can do about that is ask the company to be polite and give you a goodwill removal. Now, if you've had that card for 8, 9, 10 years, you've always made the payment on time, and one time, maybe 2 times, you made a late or missed payment, then you can contact the company. We suggest that you contact them by postal mail because you want to have a paper trail, but you can call them as well. But you contact the company, you have to ask them politely. They have no obligation to remove that late entry from your credit report.
So, Kev, just so I'm clear, I can't write in here listen, all right, son, I was late on my bill. Y'all need to take this off my bill because you messing up my score. I'm trying to get this house. That's not right.
You can't do that, nice. And you can't call up and say, look, it was a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? I know my bills didn't get paid, but nobody got their bills paid. They don't care.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. They don't care. And they might not even pay their bills, but they don't care about that. What they do with their creditors is different from what they expect of you. Mm-hmm. Now, what you can say is, hey, I was impacted by the pandemic. I lost my job. Prior to the pandemic, I had been paying you guys on time or early. I had been paying way more than the minimums. So you know that this is anomalistic, right? This is an anomaly. I'm not this person. I got caught up like everybody else got caught up. Anomalistic. You caught it?
I caught it. I was waiting for you to finish your point. I was like, there goes one right there for the books.
So you guys know this is anomalistic. You know that's not who I am. This is not my personality. This is not my history. Would you guys please do me a favor and remove these entries? Likely you only have 1 or 2. Yes. Now, if you have 5 in a row, they are less likely because it shows a pattern, and they do not, first of all, they're obligated to report the truth. But yes, they do have the authority to remove those things. The likelihood of you getting 3 or more removed is very difficult, if not impossible. But the only way it can get removed is if you write a goodwill letter or make a goodwill call and ask politely.
So, Kev, if I use that word though, if I say anomalistic, is it more likely that they're gonna like, that's a good word? I like this, sis. We're gonna give you one, maybe.
It is much more likely if that's the truth. Now, if 2 years ago you had 3 missed payments and the year before that you had 2 missed payments, that's you. That's who you are. But pandemic comes, you have been paying up until the pandemic, 5 years, you have great payments, then yes, they are likely to, if you ask nicely, they're likely to remove them. But what's being reported out there is we can get late or missed payments removed. That is the truth. You hear what I'm saying, Nice? That is the truth. When somebody out there who's in the credit space says we can get late payments removed, that is the truth. We can get late payments removed. But these are the things that have to be in place. You have to have a great credit history up until the point, and you want to have no more than 3 missed or late payments. If that's the case, you certainly don't want to have, and if you can have no late or missed payments in the last 24 months, then it's even easier. But if you've had those late payments in the last 24 months. So the truth is being told. Companies can get those things removed from your credit report. The context, though, is these things have to be in place in order to get it done. And it is a process. And by the way, let me add on to that, Nice, because this is the thing that is causing me problems. Let me add on to that. It may take some time. So we write a letter. We write a goodwill letter. We write it to the company one time. The company may not respond, or they may not have gotten the letter in the right hands. So we write a follow-up letter. We may have to do that 5 or 6 times before it gets into the hands of somebody who says, okay, we looked at the history. This person's good. We'll remove that. And that could take 6 months because we have to write a letter. We have to give them 30 days. That's the law. We have to give them 30 days to respond to that letter. If they don't respond, we then have to send a follow-up letter. We have to give them time to remove that late payment. But there's never an obligation. They don't have to do it. So just know that's what's up. All right? That's what's up.
Okay.
I got another one, but
go.
Which one?
Yeah, you don't want to go?
Yeah, I'm gonna save this one because this one really drives me crazy.
All right. Let's see. Let me think of something I've gotten text messages about. Got a text message about life insurance. So it's a gnat. Y'all ever have a gnat that just like, they're so slow and you clapping to try to get it and you still don't get it. I'm like, how did I miss it? You're so slow.
They slow and fast at the same time, though.
So fast at the same time. When you think you got it, you be like, do, and then they go, do. Anyway, so, all right, guys.
They only show up when you're doing a podcast. They only show up when you're trying to do something important.
Podcast, and I'm like, I'm about to be on it. And they like, you thought you killed me? Nope. Right. Try again. All right. So here's one on life insurance. You hear us a lot about what the wealthy do. I think right now, especially like, during this pandemic and being home and talking about, creating generational wealth and all those things, which is great. Like, I love those conversations, more so loving the actions that people are putting behind it to be able to do that. People willing to learn more, research more and all of those things. But research has to go beyond just like social media, which you see like as advertisement, really, So one of the things with life insurance in particular, and that what the wealthy people do and how they, got rich. So Master P, I'm gonna go with that one. So Master P's grandfather, had a whole life policy, and when he died, he left him $10,000 from his whole life policy, and he took that $10,000 and invested it into his company, and boom, no limit. That obviously it sounds great, and if it was that simple, we would be so many more Master P's out here. There's so much more legwork and all those things that went beyond it. And it was actually his grandfather had gotten into an accident of some sort or what have you. It was like a lawsuit, and he gave money from a lawsuit, so it wasn't just that. But when it comes to the building wealth with life insurance, not to say that it can't happen, because when you die, right, you're leaving your loved ones behind. So when you think about what is the purpose of life insurance? Well, Kev, I have a 2-year-old and I have a 12-year-old. And my 2-year-old and 12-year-old, they are depending on my income. So it's not just when I die, and I say when, not if, because we're all going to go. So when I die, yes, there's funeral costs associated with it. And that's a lot of times we first think about, because it's that hard hit. What are we going to do? It's one thing to be grieving about someone, but now you have to figure out where the money's going to come from, GoFundMe's, borrowing, all of that kind of stuff. Like, that's just that's hurtful on top of losing someone, right? But once the funeral is over and it's 2 and 12-year-old that I have, my income is gone. They're not getting any more money from me. Now what? They're left to be taken care of by it's a different situation for each of them, but that person needs more money to take care of them, right? So that's what life insurance does. It's income, replacement. It's going to replace the money that so their lifestyle will continue on, financially speaking, at least, right? So when their generational wealth comes in, it's like, okay, great. Now we're older. When you pass away, it's like, hey, if my family had some money, I can start life different. Maybe I'm not starting college with student loans. Maybe this business I'm not borrowing from, or this house, or what have you, right? So that's that generational wealth conversation. However, what you're seeing on a lot of social media is that I'm going to get this whole life policy, right? I'm going to dump this money into this whole life policy, and then I'm going to pull this money out so I can go build this business. Listen, when you get a whole life policy, cash value typically takes about 2 to 5 years. I've seen it in one case, 7 years to build. And when it starts to build, I mean, like, you can go to year 3 and then look at, and if you have whole life policies right now, go look at your chart. They put it right in there. Go look at it and see, where does the money start to grow? And then go across that line and see how much is in there. If you have a $50,000 policy, it's probably going to be $178 in there. So what business are you building that you can take that money from and do anything? So really, you really got to look at that. You really got to think about, why is this person really trying to sell me this? Is this the best thing for me? So it's different types, right? You got to assess your situation and figure out what's the best for you. And most times when you're younger, you have children, term is super cheap. You can get $300,000 in coverage for like freaking $50, and now you have additional money that you could put into like a Roth IRA that's going to grow for you and all these different things, because it's not the same. So I say that to say that it sounds good. And you hear the one about Walt Disney. Walt Disney, he built this company from his life insurance, and that's not true in its entirety in that too, but there's a lot. Think about it like this. Why? I'm a company. Kev, you're going to give me, let's say, Kev, you're giving me $500 a month. Most people can't afford to spend $500 a month on life insurance, okay? Right? Because, and I ain't coming at nobody's habits, but, we be driving cars that cost $500 a month just to drive on a car payment, but we ain't going there, right? Because we're working on our stuff, right, guys? Right. So, Kev, you're spending $500 a month, right? And I'm going to insure your life with, if it's a whole life policy, that you the age of 40, you got like $300,000 in coverage, maybe, right? You got to think about this. As a company, it's like going to the casino, betting against the house, right? The house always wins. The house always wants to win. So I need to get more money from you to like make it worth it. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to think about it like, why would a company just allow you to pay just this money and not get it back? So that cash value that's going to build at the end that everybody's so excited about that they're going to take, how about when you die, they're going to take that money and they keep it? They're not giving you the death benefit in this. No, they're like, no, you got this, we have this. And if you borrowed money because you started a business and you pay those payments back and you still owe, yeah, we're going to take that from the death benefit too. So you got to pay attention, guys. That's all I'm saying. I get it. People making, there's no knock against people making these videos. We're not saying that. We're just saying, guys, that you have to just ask more questions, go behind it a little bit more. Heck, fact check what we say. You know what I mean? Do it.
Right. And if you bring some information from the internet, don't hold my feet to the fire because somebody gave you part of the story, right? So there are plenty of people.
Don't text me like, why you ain't do this?
No, you're supposed to be doing this. Yeah, they didn't tell you the other part of that, right? And I'll talk about the other part is, so whole life versus term life. There are a lot of people out there talking about whole life, and they're saying whole life has this cash benefit, right?
I'm gonna build this business.
What they're not saying is you can invest just like the whole life policy is going to invest, and you might make more money.
No, you will. It's not a might. It's not a might. It's like, seriously, you can go research. It's not a might, because the money that you put into a whole life policy, the way that the company invested, it's not growing exponentially, Now there are some companies, they talk about the mutual company and the infinite banking, and I'm not here to like get into to downplay anybody's like play and what they want to do to build wealth. I'm just saying that you have to look at the fine print and you have to assess. This is the big thing. Wealth strategies. There are some wealth strategies that work for different people because of the wealth and assets that they have already. So you can't use those strategies for you. Like if you make, $60,000 a year and your income, you have, let's say at the end of the month, you have an additional $500 left over after you pay all your bills and everything else. Well, you can't invest and do the same things as somebody that makes, when they say the wealthy. So this person makes $1 million a year. I have all this money to play with. It's not the same. So not to say that if we hear it, oh, wealth strategies. Oh, you did this. How about the conversation of what that person did to get that wealth, not what they're doing now when they have it. See, we got to find out, what are you doing to get there? You know what I mean? And it really comes back to your habits. Like when I tell you our habits, and I'm saying this from the gut for myself too, that habits is going to make or break you. Yes, you have people who don't make a whole lot of money, but they gain wealth because they're really good at, their budgeting, putting their money away, like not being frivolous. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the stories. But if you just look like, oh, let me just, hey, that's how the videos be too. Hey, listen, let me tell you, this is how the wealthy do it. And then they got the split screen like me and you. So I'm gonna be talking and you gonna be over there like, bet that, right? We're gonna do a video, okay? We're gonna do some videos. But no, all jokes aside, guys, you gotta assess where you are. And it's not a knock, but you know what? This book, The Psychology of Money, read or listen to the audio. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It really talks to you about how the psychology of money is, why we think the way that we think now, why we think that, oh man, I should be able to do the same thing that this guy to make $1 million. I mean, sorry, you should be able to, but you can't because you don't make the same amount. And the lifestyle's not the same. You're not entitled to that lifestyle right now because you ain't grind the way he did to get it or she got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what we forget. And now it's like, oh, okay, now I'm about to spend. Listen, if you don't have that much money, why are you spending $500 a month for life insurance?
Right. Because and this is a retweet. There are wealth strategies and then there are strategies to wealth. And those are two different things. That's retweet Kevin Lewis right there. Yeah. There are wealth strategies and there are strategies to wealth. And people are hearing the words wealth strategies and they're saying, I want to be doing the exact same thing that the wealthy are doing. Mm-hmm. The wealthy were not doing the thing that they're doing now when they were in your position. They did something different. Mm-hmm. When they got wealthy, then they could change, right? Mm-hmm. They can. A wealthy person can invest in Uber, right? They can invest in Uber and risk Uber going bankrupt, which Uber almost did and might still do, right? They can risk that because they are generating $1 million a year in revenue, right?
You got to think about what it is. It's like, and I talk to my clients about this all the time. If you have, a lot of times we want it now. Like we live in a microwave society where everything is like now. Like, oh, I just started this business January. I should be wealthy and on my way by June. It doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really works that way. Oh, I'm investing money. Hey, listen, if I give you this $5,000, what can you do for me? How you gonna make this hit for me right now? How important is this $5,000? Like, can you lose this? Because if you can lose it and it's not going to make you lose sleep at night or anything like that, then you can do some funkier things with it. They're gonna be more risky for you to get it. But if it's like, if I lose it, it's gonna be a problem. Your return ain't coming back that fast. It's not. It can't. You know what I mean? So
can't. Everything is a process, people. Please stop trying to beat the system. There is no beating the system. The system was designed so that you couldn't beat it. And just when you get something that can beat it, they're going to change the system. So process. Fall in love with the process and just know that you cannot do anything overnight, which takes me to the next
fall in love with the process, though. I like that part. I think it's entrepreneurial. You have to fall in love with the process. Like sometimes you lose it though. You know what I mean? Like the love starts to fleet a little bit. And you got to remember your purpose and why you're doing this and things like that. And then learn to love the process so that the results will come. So
right. And just know that we work our clients through processes. We don't work our clients through gimmicks, right? We don't work, there are no tricks. In anything, I think in anything in life, you either trade money for time or time for money, right? If you want to fix your credit quickly, you're going to have to spend some money. If you have some time, you don't have money, and you're willing to wait, then we can fix your credit, but it's going to take some time. Like I said, it could take 6 months to get a goodwill removal of one late payment off your credit report, just because we've got to spend time getting to the people who can make the decision to do that, and they don't have to, they're not obligated. So nice, here's another area of credit that burns me up. And I'm going to talk about this on the personal side first, then I'm going to talk about on the business side. Because these things, this thing right here.
You better not be talking about me either, Kev. I'm going to know if you talk about me.
You're going to know.
All right. I'm just saying.
Everybody, I'm not talking about Ikea. So no, this is definitely not you. So people come to me all the time and they say, Kevin, should I get a trade line in my purse? So people are advertising trade lines. Now, trade lines are what they called if you're doing business credit. Authorized users are what they called if you put them on your personal credit. But everybody's calling them trade lines, and they're intermixing those. So the first thing I want people to do is, if you're out there talking about credit, please use the correct terms so these people don't come to me and say, because they come to me and they say,
angry right now.
Then that pisses me off. I'm mad. Tell them why you're mad, son. Tell them why you're mad.
Like, I need a little thing that's going to say that. Click.
Why I'm mad, why it bothers me. And again, I'm not the foremost authority. There are people out there who are smarter than me, who've been doing this longer than me, who may have access to information I have not gotten access to yet. But what I want to say about people is, when you're out there talking about terms, make sure you're using the correct terms, because what happens is people know the authorized user term, but they hear people saying trade lines and they say, Kevin, I don't want to do authorized user, but I want to do a trade line on my personal credit. That is an authorized user. There is no such thing as trade line on the personal side. So the person is trying to sell you an authorized usership. Okay. But let's say authorized usership, right? So people come to me and say to me all the time, Kevin, do you do authorized users? The answer is no. And here's the reason. An authorized user is it is absolutely legal. And for most people, it is ethical. Here's the problem I have with authorized users. Bless you. So that gnat didn't fly up your nose, did it? So here's why I do not recommend authorized user. I don't stop people from doing it. And if they say, Kevin, I want to be an authorized user on somebody's credit, I tell them how to do it, but we don't suggest it. And here's the reason why. So if you become an authorized user, let's say you had an Amex card. You've had that Amex card for quite some time. It has a $25,000 limit on it. You keep the balances low. Life is good. I sign up as an authorized user. Now, I know you. We are good friends. So I say, Nike, can you do me a favor and put me on as authorized user? And here's the reason why I want you to put me on as authorized user. Number one, I have got 4 credit cards. All of them are maxed out. The total limit on those 4 credit cards is $5,000, and I'm maxed out, right? So my credit utilization is at 100%. I say, can you put me on your $25,000 Amex card? You say yes. Now I have the benefit of lowering my credit utilization, because it's going to show that 25,000 plus the 5,000, that's 30,000. I've got 5,000 outstanding. Let's say you have $1,000 limit. So the total outstanding balances is $6,000 over the 30,000 total limits, right? Which means now my credit utilization looks great. It's great. But here's the thing. I have a spending problem, obviously, because without your $25,000, I'm at 100% utilization, right? The thing that I caution people about is, in this credit thing, you want to make sure you don't have a spending problem. When you max out your credit cards, now, if you are in an emergency situation like pandemic, you may not have a spending problem. So having an authorized user is fine. But here's the issue. Now, kid, you and I know each other, right? Let's say something happens and you've got to max out that Amex card, right? You've got to replace a car in an emergency. You have to max out that Amex card and you've got to carry that $25,000 balance for a few months, right? Your credit utilization goes up to 100%, but now my credit utilization also goes up to 100%. Here's the problem. I can't call you and say, Nikia, pay your bill. I can't be mad at you, right? You had an emergency that you had to take care of. It's your Amex card. I can't tell you what to do with it, but I am now going to be penalized because you had to take care of an emergency on your Amex card. So that's one of the issues that I have with authorized users. Here's the other issue that I have with authorized users. Now, you and I know each other. So I may be able to call you up and say, hey, Nike, is everything all right? I noticed that you're carrying a high balance on your Amex card. Is everything cool? You might say, oh, you know what? Yes, but I'm getting ready to pay it off right now. I'm glad you called because I'm getting ready to go pay that thing off, right? We know each other. What's happening out there is there are companies that are outselling these authorized users. So now I'm going to move over a little bit, right? Move over a little bit. Now imagine if there was somebody in the middle here, right? I'm going to put my finger on it. All right. So here's the deal. Nikia, same Amex card. Kevin, same $5,000 outstanding balances on my credit. But now there's a company in the middle that says, we'll connect you to. I'm going to move my finger now. So there's a company in the middle that says, we'll connect you. So they will reach out to Nikia and say, Nikia, we'd like to buy your trade line. We'd like to put somebody on your credit card as an authorized user. You say, absolutely, fine. I'm going to charge you $500 to do that. I am now the middleman. Now, I stopped being Kevin. I'm now the middleman, right? So I say, okay. I then connect to, let's say, Steve. Steve, it is going to cost you $750, but I can get you a $25,000 credit card or an authorized user on a $25,000 credit card that has a $1,000 outstanding balance. It's going to cost you $750. So now I make $250, you make $500. Steve gets the benefit of having that credit utilization go down, and that credit limit, because that also looks good, right? Now, Nikia, same thing. She goes out, she maxes out that Amex at $25,000. Steve's credit scores drop 60 points. Who's Steve calling, Nice?
Steve calling me. You, the guy, right?
Right, I'm the middleman. Steve is calling me because he doesn't know you.
Right.
He's never going to meet you. He's calling me saying my score went down. What's up? I've got to now call Nikia and say, Nikia, can you please pay your bill down because you are not only messing me up, right? Not only messing me up, but you're messing up my client, right? Nice. You don't care about my client.
Nope.
Right? You care about your life and the emergency that you had that required you to spend this $25,000, right? I can't go back to the client and be like, well, you know what? You out of luck because the client paid me $750, right? So I'm stuck in the middle and the client gets no benefit. The person on this other end, I can't put pressure on them. So that relationship goes terribly wrong. And the only person that pays in that instance is me, the middleman. That's why we don't do that. Now, it's perfectly legal, but that's why we don't do that. Here's the one other thing one of the reasons we don't advocate for doing authorized usership, right? One, you don't have control. But here's the thing, there are 3 things that need to be in place. So if you're going to do it, you absolutely insist on becoming an authorized user. Maybe it's to build credit, maybe you don't have credit and you want to build credit really quickly. Again,
I have a question.
Yep, go ahead.
So what happens when you come off the card? So now, I was on it. I had this good ride for, let's say, a few months. And now, like the scenario, the 25,000. So now if I want to come off as an authorized user, what then happens to like my score, to my history, or what have you?
You right back where you started.
Oh, okay.
That card comes off.
Those are used like if you need to get something type of thing. Like you try and go get a car, you try and get a house. It's a short time frame type of thing.
It's a short time frame. And you're using it so that you can get access to some other kind of credit. Right? You might be trying to get your own Amex card, and so you want to show that you have a low utilization and that there's already an Amex card on your credit report. Now you apply for your own Amex. Once you got your own Amex, now you're going to take yourself off.
Got you.
Right? And you've got to hope to the heavens that nothing happens before you get approved, right? But you can't control it. You don't have a lot of control over that, right?
Got it.
So nice. This is what I'm going to tell people. If they absolutely insist on doing authorized users, there needs to be several things in place. One, it needs to be something that is temporary, and you need to be applying for this credit. You need to be applying for this credit in the short term. So you say 3 months, and I'm going to apply for these things in 3 months, right? But 3 things need to be in place. One, the person absolutely has to pay their bills on time, and you want to see proof at least 2 years of them paying. So
if you're using somebody else's, if you're using a third party, because you're not necessarily going to ask your friend.
I'm going to ask you.
But listen, if you coming to me though, because I got the good Amex card and you don't, and you coming to me, you want to get put on, but you're like, but nice, let me see 2 years of your payment history. You want to get put on my stuff? Why I got to show you that?
You don't have to. You're not obligated. But I'm telling people, if you want to be an authorized user on somebody's credit, you want to know that they have a good payment history, because what if they didn't pay their bill 2 months before you asked?
I got it. Right? But I'm saying that's when it gets to be kind of like, we're like, I'm about to do you a solid. You want to ask for all this extra? Maybe now I want to do it. Unless you're going to offer me money, then I'll probably be like, all right, let me show you.
But even if I weren't offering you money, I'm telling the person from the person who needs the help, this is what you should be asking for.
No, I get it. I'm just saying, for me, I'm like,
you have no reason. And I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it. But some people are. I'm telling people, if you're going to, because there are people out there who are doing videos that are saying, oh yeah, we sell authorized users, or we sell trade lines. They call them trade lines. Again, makes me mad. But they're saying we sell trade lines. And what they're not telling you is all of the things that can happen. If this person doesn't pay their bill, that's going to affect your credit. Right? So I want to have some assurance that you're going to pay the bill. And if you give it to me, great. If you don't, I understand. Right? All right, cool. So ask them see if you can find out if they are diligent and paying their bills. Right? The next thing is they need to have high limits, low balances. So you don't want to jump on somebody's card that has a $500 limit, even if they only have $25 outstanding balance. But you want to find it won't even make sense. You can go out and get your own secured credit card. Secured card, right? So you want them to have high. They're not saying this. People are not saying this. High limit, low balance. The other thing is you want them to have at least a 7-year history on the card they're going to put you on, because if they just got that card, let's say you had 7 years worth of credit, right? Mm-hmm. That person only has 1 year worth of credit on this credit card, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to average your credit with that new credit line, and that's going to bring your credit age down to maybe 5 years, right? Mm-hmm. You need to have 7 years worth of credit to be good in that category. So your score is going to go down as soon as you become an authorized user. Now it's going to go up because of the utilization, but it's going to go down because of the credit age. And it could be a wash. And so you on there like, my score only went up 6 points. I'm on this authorized user. Why did my score only go up 6 points? And that's because the utilization raised your credit, but the credit age lowered your credit. So you want to make sure you're on that card. They've had that card for 7 years or more. Those 3 things have to be in place. The 4th thing, like I said, is you want to know that it's a temporary fix and you need to be using it to leverage your way into some other credit. Mm-hmm. Now, are they saying that out there nice?
Nah,
I don't think that they are.
Yeah.
I don't think that they are. Mm-mm. I don't think that they are. So,
so you finished. You finished.
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. You got that. Y'all got that, guys. That was good stuff, Kev. I take your information when I'm talking to my own clients and be like, listen, let me tell you what you got to do. And then you got to go see Kev. But I always appreciate your credit tips and strategies. Very helpful. Very, very helpful.
If you want to do it, just learn how to do it the most effective way.
Mm-hmm. And get all the answers before you just watch the video and just go out and try it. Like you can't, it's not the recipes like where the videos, I like the videos where it has the dinners. So it's like that's how you cook it and it got the ingredients in there. That's different, right? Because it gives you all the ingredients, the timer. Think about how mad you get with those videos to be like, oh yeah, this, and they show you pictures and they don't tell you all the ingredients. You're like, I want to make that. You give me all the ingredients. How to make it. It's kind of like that, right?
It's like that. It's just like that, right? Yeah. It's like watching Master Chef. You think you can go out and make that meal because you watch Master Chef? Master Chef don't tell you what they put in their food. They just
let me tell you something. What's it called? The Food Network. That's how I started getting better at cooking. I like Chop. I watch Chop a lot.
Chop is one of my favorite shows.
It's one of my favorite shows. I watch. Well, I don't really watch it anymore, but I used to watch it all the time before. And that's how I learned to some different things, like some flavors and how certain things go together. But not a chef. Taking notes from Virginia. All right.
So Trina, thank you for joining us and thank you for taking notes. This was more of a rant than it was.
But she got some nuggets from that. That's all. Yeah. That's all good. It's all good. I do have something I want to say, good people. It is like the summertime is here. We're getting back outside. I'm excited about that. So I'd like to know, how do you guys feel about now, like going to events? Is anybody like nervous about going to events or being around people or anything? Because Kev, me and you, that's our thing. I love to do like a good seminar, have some people connect with the people. I'm just wanting to know, like, is the people out here like, yeah, I'm out here, but I still don't want to be inside around people. I'm still like, it's kind of trying to get that feel of things again is kind of what I'm looking at. Like, how's that going? How's that going for you? Have you come across any events? Have you gone to any events yourself, any networking events or anything like that?
Not networking events. But I did go to a Doom Day this year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. They were out. Black people came out.
Sunday, right?
Sunday.
Oh, it rained on Sunday.
Yeah, but it didn't rain until after we left.
So no, that's good. Because normally hot as fish grease. The fish that they selling down there is normally as hot as it is out there. Like, yo, I'm seriously about to melt. Like, yeah.
Well, it was interesting. It was not as heavily attended as it normally is. Mm-hmm. That's to be expected. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a combination of the rain. It rained that morning, and people are still they don't know where to be. And this is a weird COVID space.
It's a weird space right now.
For some people, COVID doesn't exist anymore. For some people, it is raging.
Right. So, and some people was never from the beginning. So everybody has their own things and and all those strategies. Yes. So Kev, Father's Day is coming up. So you know what? Here's a good question. So this show is about, entrepreneurs, small business owners, all those good things. And a lot of times it's that, I got to grind through everything. I can't take time off or whatever. So at what point did you really realize, like, I can't grind 24/7. Like, I do have to structure my grind and take some time still for family and still for some things. And, you should be celebrated as a Black father, that, you're a great father. You should be celebrated and recognize your day. I know Mother's Day gets all the love, but, we out here. Good, happy Father's Day to our brothers that's coming up too. So at what point did you really realize in your grind season that, like, I really do need to, like, find some sort of a balance with work and home life or what have you, because there has to be, because if you don't, how you spend one side of the spectrum. So if you didn't turn work off when you're on your leisure time or what have you, you're still like, your mind is still going, you still think of work, or you might be feeling guilty that you didn't do that. So you have any tips or, strategies to help some other young entrepreneurs out, or even some that's in the game still that still hasn't gotten that part down yet?
I'm in the game and I haven't gotten that part down yet. So when that day comes, I'm gonna let you know. And this is a real that's real talk. I'm gonna work on Father's Day. I'm not gonna do a lot of work because it's Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so I don't do a lot of work on Sundays, but I will do work. But I'm in the process of doing something, putting another piece of my business in that's going to play a huge role in the future. Mm-hmm. And I gotta say to you, I don't really know. I can't see the vacation in the future, and that's a problem. And I talk to other people about this and scold them about it, but the truth of the matter is I'm falling victim to my own demons mm-hmm. about this business, because there's always the next thing, right? Mm-hmm. And this next thing requires that I dig in. And so what I would tell people is get somebody like you in their life. That's the best thing I can tell you. I wish that I had the revenue, or I wish that I were in a place that I could take on a formal partner mm-hmm. for this business. And that's what I'm working towards now. Mm-hmm. I tell people though, if you can't, even if you can't get a formal partner, getting somebody who's like Nikea to me and who I am to her, we just decided that we are business partners, even though we're in two different businesses, but we're business partners. And that's where your value comes in. Kev, you got to take Father's Day off, right? You got to make me do it, because otherwise
you over here.
I don't buy.
Yeah. I so this book, I'm all about my books, right? Yes. But it's always the application. And I cannot say that every book that I've read, I've applied. I've got some great stuff like, this would be great. Now I just got to do it. And the application happens. And it's like, I don't know. So I'm very animated. I'm sure you guys can see if you tuned in enough of these shows to know I'm a very animated person. But so the book, the 12-week year. Yeah. So what I like about that book is I feel like it has given me the structure to do what I just talked about, right? So we start off the beginning of the year. I'm trying to just sum it up and tell you some of the key components I got from that. We start off at the beginning of the year with your goals of what you're going to do this year, what you're going to accomplish this year. And not just for entrepreneurs, it's people in life. I'm going to lose 30 pounds. I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to do whatever it is, right? And then as the year goes on, that deadline is so stretched out. So it's like, I may have messed up the first 3 months, but that's cool because I still have time to get it done. Now it's half the year. I still have time. You kind of keep pushing it back. And then it gets closer to the year and it's like, I didn't do it. So with the 12-week year, what they talk about is how you take what goals you want. Like you can look at your big goals and then you break them down to smaller goals, right? And now it's okay for these, 12 weeks. What am I working on? So you pick like 3, maybe 4 goals max. And this is what it is that I'm working on. So this is my grind. This is what I'm doing. I have it structured. You break it down a little bit smaller, right? You're able to track it, check in. Now at the end of the 12 weeks, you can look back like, wow, okay, my bigger goal was this. Let's say let's just use working out because that's always easy example. I wanted to lose 50 pounds this year, but I started out by walking 3 times a week, eating, fasting 1 day a week, and doing whatever, and going to like a spin class or something like that, or writing down my food, right? So now at the end of the 12 weeks, with those smaller goals, you're able to look back at it like, wow, I'm getting closer to this 50 pounds from being able to track it that way. So for business, it's really great. I love it. I'm going to implement that. Working on one thing that we can't do is work too much on, I got to have everything in place to set it up before I can start. That has been me a lot of times with stuff, right? But what I like about that 12-week year is because after the 12 weeks, Kev, now you have a sense of accomplishment. I had these 3 or 4 important goals I worked on. I got them done. Now I can take a week, right? To, maybe that week is 3 days is with my family, 4 days with my family. We're doing something, right? And then the other time is yourself, right? And now I'm ready to start my next 12 weeks because I gave myself that reward that, where I feel like I can take off because I got these things done. That for me, and, I feel like for kids too, if you're looking at, hey, we're doing something every 12 weeks, even if it's not you can do a good staycation locally somewhere or something like that. I think that that's great. So I think for me, having a 2-year-old and 12-year-old and with my life that I have right now and everything, 12-week year for me just makes a whole lot of sense. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. And so I would enter that we need to put vacation in as one of the goals. And that's what I haven't done. Mm-hmm. I need to make my vacation a goal, and it needs to be as important as building the app that we're building.
Yep. Because if not, when you're in business, you want these things too, but you have personal relationships outside of your business, you have to cultivate and water those as well, or they won't be there, and that's important. And even for kids, I don't want it to be where I look back. I know I can't make it to every single thing, but I could structure my time and make it to a lot if I do it right. You know what I mean? And work when I'm supposed to work and play when I'm supposed to play.
Yeah.
That part right there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Well.
So what you got? What we ending with, Kev?
Find out the entire context. That's all we ask. You don't have to come to us. You don't have to believe us. But find the entire context of the things that you guys are seeing on the internet. Find out, ask several people what the entire context is, and help us help you.
Help us help you. Oh, and just one more mention of InvestFest that is coming up. Go to investfest.com. I actually heard it when I was taking Vaya to school on Steve Harvey show. He was talking about it. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I would love to be a part of something like that. But yeah, guys, check that out if you can make it down to Atlanta. If y'all want to have your own InvestFest up here, let us know. Put in the comments, email us. You can get some experts that we know too all together. Get some performers out there, get some food trucks. We could do that up here. Why not?
Why not? Why not? Or let's bring it up here because they've done the work for us.
So, right. When y'all coming up to the Northeast?
When y'all coming up, let's see if they can connect with the local superstars up here and say, hey, we'll do an InvestFest Philadelphia, but we'll insert the people from Philadelphia in these spaces.
Mm-hmm. I'm with it. Corey likes to put events on. I think I might have to hit Corey up down in Willenboro. Like, hey, Corey, you check this out.
Check this out. All right. Well, as you guys know, we're here every Wednesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the Biz Breaks Podcast, where we have real talk with real entrepreneurs. Today was another good one, in my opinion. And my opinion counts. So stay tuned until next Wednesday. You can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell on the YouTube platform. We appreciate you guys as always. Thank you, Stephanie. That's my partner out in Georgia. like I said, I have partners strategically placed, and she has been instrumental in helping me get to this point. So I appreciate you for tuning in and for manning the chat. Trina, thank you for joining from Virginia. Hope we gave you some good information. Stay tuned. Come on next week where we have some more information and another guest who will be imparting some stuff. So we appreciate you guys. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Bye.